Hello everyone, and today we're going to try to install this MPC remote start system. We're getting a little bit of the cold season, and it's going to be installed on this Nissan Altima. So let's get started. And for our first step, let's go ahead and lower the steering wheel. So we got our little lever underneath of it, push it down, and we'll go ahead and lock it back in. Next, we're going to go ahead and turn our steering wheel. We need to gain access to our steering column screws, and they're Phillips head screws, which there's one right there. So we'll grab our Phillips screwdriver and go ahead and loosen these up. They're not very tight at all. And let's see if I can do it while holding a camera. And there's one screw right there. And I didn't drop it. And then we'll go turn the steering wheel the other way and do the same thing to the other screw. And there's the second one. And then we'll go ahead and turn the steering wheel back to center. Now here's where the fun begins. Go ahead and grab your trim removal tool, and let's go ahead and lift up the steering wheel column cover. And all you have to do is get right under it, and it should pop right up. I'm using two of these just to help gain leverage. So there's one side, and let's see if I can get the other side. Come on. And there it goes. Popped right out. And this lifts up. Very nice. Now it is attached with a piece of fabric, so I'm going to just go ahead and pull it out, just to get the fabric all the way out. And as you can see, it goes inside, and it's attached to the clustered lip. So you're not going to be able to pull this out quite yet. So I'm going to take my same trim removal tool, and I want to go ahead and pry this cluster lid out. I want to start with the top, just pry it out, and that came out very easy. And then let me go ahead and work my way to the bottom. And get my hand in there. And there it goes. So that one came out fairly easy. That wasn't too hard at all. And this should come out as one piece. So let me see if I can actually wedge this out without knocking over my camera gear. And come on. There we go. And then we'll lift straight up. Very nice. Came out as one piece. So now we have gained access to three screws. We have one at the top, one to the right. Let me get my flashlight so you can see it. So there's that one. And then one to the left. Same spot on the other side. There it goes. And this is a Phillips head screwdriver, so it's not too hard. And we need to remove these three combination meter screws. And if you drop them, no big deal. They're not really going anywhere. So let me get the top one first. Come on. Okay, so there's one. And there's the one on the right. And the one on the left. And again, we'll go ahead and take our trim removal tool and move our instrument side finisher. You're going to be using these trim removal tools for the majority of the job. And this pops right out. And then we'll go ahead and set that aside. So now we can gain access to unseat our lower panel. So take that same trim removal tool, pry it downward. Now we want to take it off, we just want to unseat it. It gives us access to take this upper panel off right here. And now I'll work my way to the other side of the steering column just to unseat this lower panel. And again, I'm going to take my trim removal tool and I'll get two of them just so I can gain leverage. And this will pop right out as well. And I'll just unseat it just a little bit with my hand. There we go. So now let me go ahead and grab the camera so we can get a better view of what we're looking at. So by unseating this lower panel right here, we can remove the instrument pad, this upper panel. And you can see both sides, so now we have a little bit of a gap there, so it makes it easier on us. And now this step should be fairly easy. We're going to pull apart this instrument pad, and I'm just using my hands. If you need a trim removal tool, use it, but I'm just going to go ahead and pull outward, and it's popping right out. This is looking pretty good. So get the left side lifted up, go to the right. I'm just going back and forth. There we go. And do a little right a little bit more. Now the start button is connected to this pad, so disconnect it before you pull this all the way out, and then we'll go ahead and set this aside. And always be careful not to scratch your combination meter, and always inspect your connectors as you take things apart. So now we'll go ahead and grab our microfiber cloth, and we're going to put this over the combination meter. The combination meter is easily scratched, so I'm using the cloth. It kind of has a pad or a cushion. So I'm going to go ahead and take the combination meter out with both hands, very gently, or at least try to, and we're going to disconnect the connectors as we pull it out. And let me get the other side as well. And there we go. So that little cloth helped us out right there. And we'll set that aside. And behind our gauge cluster, we have our BCM, where I'm going to remove 4 connectors. Now mine's facing forward, but yours may face the other way, which means you might have to unbolt it and turn it. But I'm going to start with 4 connectors, which is the gray connector. Then I'm going to use the white connector. Work away to the green. See if I can at least get to it. Now you can do this in any order you want. This is just the order I'm doing just because it was just easy to get to. So the green one's out, and the last one's going to be the black one. Very nice. All right, so this is the part I'm going to deviate from the instructions a little bit. This connector right here, the one that has no slack, that's where I'm supposed to acquire my 12 volts or my hot wire. Instead, see if I get the camera down here, I'm going to work my way to the fuse box. I want to acquire my hot wire or my 12 volts from here. And I'm going to do it using this cool little adapter right here. This is a fuse adapter. Makes it easy and more professional to acquire my 12 volts. And now that everything's disconnected and we have a plan of attack, let's go ahead and prep our wiring harness. Now, it looks like spaghetti and it looks a little bit intimidating, but there's nothing much to it. And we're going to start with our power wire, which is our positive, and our negative, which is our red and our black. And we'll go ahead and strip the tips off a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and extend these using a little bit of extra extended wire right here, as well as some butt connectors. You don't have to do this, but I'm doing it just to give me room to work. And I'm just going to insert butt connectors on there. Always check them to make sure they don't come apart. Looks good. And then we'll go ahead and add our extension to it. Same thing, just always check them. Very nice. One more. And beautiful. So we have about an extra foot of extension cable. And at the end of that extension cable, I'm going to crimp down our fuse adapter. And I matched colors up red with red, so that's going to be our positive. That's going to be our 12 volts. So it looks pretty good. Now on the other side of our wiring harness, we have a white connector. It's a 20-pin connector. It looks just like this. And attached to that connector is a dark blue wire. This is going to be our hood switch wire. Now this hood switch needs to be attached to ground when the hood is closed. This is a safety feature added to the cars, so no one can remote start the vehicle while someone is working on it. So this is something that must be installed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and install or attach an extension cable to it. You don't have to do it, but I did. And on the other side, on the black side, I went and tied together our negative for our module as well as the negative for the switch. And I'm hooked it to a ring lug, just like you see right here. And I'll crimp it down. And then let me go ahead and move my camera so you can see where I'm going to hook it to. Next to the BCM, there's a screw right there. I already took the screw out. That's a perfect spot for a ground because it's metal on metal. So all I'm going to do is take my ring lug and attach it right there. So I'm going to grab my Phillips screwdriver with an extension, and we'll just go ahead and tighten this down. And you want to make sure it's nice and snug, or at least try to. So there we go, nice and tight. So now let me go ahead and bring the camera in so you can get a better look. So we have both our negatives hooked up, this for the hood switch and the module. And now we'll go down to the fuse box, or at least see if I can get the camera angle better. And we're going to install this fuse adapter in spot 8. That's where the blank is. So this is very easy. All you have to do is push it right in, once you get your hand in there at least. So I'm going to try to do this while holding a camera. So let me see if I can at least find a good camera angle. And there we go, it's in. And you get an idea what it looks like, so it fits in there very nicely. It looks perfect. So now we should have power available to our module. All that's left is connecting our hood switch right here. And this is a toggle switch, there's nothing much to it. And all we're going to use is butt connectors and crimp it to our extensions. Now you don't have to use extensions. Again, I did just because it made it easier on me, and it makes it so I can mount this switch wherever I want. And do a little test. Very nice. I'm going to go ahead and route the toggle switch downward. It's going to be towards the fuse box. All you have to do is drill about a 1/4 inch hole into any one of your panels and install your switch there. And for now, I'm going to leave it down there until we finish all of our tests. So now that we got all the hard wiring and crimping out of the way, let's go to an easy step, which is connect all these T-harnesses up. So this one's just going to be green to green, and it's very easy. There's nothing much to it. It's just a little bit crowded in there. And then we'll hook that right up to our BCM, and then it'll do gray to gray, and just match the colors up. There's nothing to it at all. And then we have black to black. See if I can get my hand in there. And then the last one, we have our bigger black to black connector, and then we'll just go ahead and plug that in as well. Now we can go ahead and reconnect our start button. You don't have to actually put this panel back in place. You just need to reconnect the connectors. You need the start button when doing the programming steps, which we're going to do right after this. So we have our module right here, and right on the module there is a program button. And we also have a black connector, which is our power connector. So while holding the program button down, we're going to hook in a 4-pin connector, and there's 2 of them. The one you want is one without the latch or the clip on top. So it's going to be this one right here. So let me go ahead and hold down the program button, insert that connector, or at least try to, come on. There we go. And you're going to see the LEDs go through their various steps, and you want to release the program button when it's only blue, just like that. And then we'll go ahead and reconnect the other connectors. And this can be done any order once the black one's in there. Now, if you mess up step 1, you can always unplug it and start all over. There's nothing much to it. And then we'll go ahead and press the start button twice. 1, 2. Turn off the windshield wipers because I hit them by mistake. And we should see an LED flash blue. Yes, we do. That's a great sign. And then once you see that, go ahead and press the start button one more time to shut off the vehicle. And there it goes, should turn off, and then the red and yellow should be strobing back and forth. And now we can go ahead and disconnect the module. We're going to save the black connector for last, so go ahead and do all the other connectors. And see if I can get this one out. Come on. All right, there's 1, 2, 3, and then the last one is the black one. Perfect. And also included in our kit is this USB adapter and this cable that came with it. We'll go ahead and start plugging these up. And we'll plug the other side of the module. And now we can load the vehicle settings. And just to make things easy on us, I brought the laptop outside. And we're going to go ahead and open the FlashLink software. Now you're going to need internet connection when you use this software, just as an FYI. So let's go ahead and grab our USB adapter and go ahead and plug it into our USB port. And there we go. Try to do this while holding a camera. And we got some blinking lights. All right. Now looking at the screen, everything's loading. Now this is actually sped up, so that way it saves us a little bit of time. And it looks like we're having connection issues. Please reconnect the module. All right. So let me take out the USB adapter and try again. All right. So looks like we're having issues here. So let me go ahead and try again. All right. That was a good sign. Nope. Okay, let me leave the USB adapter in. Let me go ahead and just try unplugging the module. So let me go ahead and unplug this one wire and then plug it back in. And we'll see what happens. Okay, we have a green light. And now we have the FlashLink Manager loading. All right, so this is a great sign. So apparently I got to hook in the USB adapter first. And yep, looks like everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And after we wait for everything to load up. All right, so everything looks so far so good. Now according to instructions, we click on the decryptor. And then we scroll down. So bear with me because the laptop's kind of an awkward angle. And scrolling down. And then you're supposed to click Send Data. Unfortunately, we have a 2015 Altima, not a 2016. So we're going to have to change that. So go to the top left, keep Nissan in its spot, and we're going to change that to 2015. And then obviously it's an Altima. Push the start, yep. Load settings. And again, this may take a second. I just went ahead and fast forward it. Go back down to decryptor, scroll down again, and then we'll go ahead and click on Send Data. And this may take a few minutes, but again, this one's fast forward, so you don't have to wait as long. And for the very last part, it's going to say Updating Unit with a progress bar. And again, this takes a few minutes, so once that's done, it should say, yep, disconnect the module. And then we'll come over and go ahead and disconnect that black connector, and that's it. So now that we're past the halfway point, now we can reinstall the module. We'll start with the black connector and go ahead and do the remaining ones on the harness. And there we go. All right, so now the moment of truth. Now we're going to test the system. So we're going to hit lock 3 times. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. It's going to be a little hesitation. Come on. Oh, and there we go. That's perfect. That's what we want to see. So now let's go ahead and turn off the vehicle and continue on. So now we can start putting everything back together. Let me go and disconnect the start button so we can go ahead and remove this instrument pad. Get that out of the way. And now that we have a successful test, let's see about getting the wiring harness in there. So I want to go ahead and fold the cables and tuck it in there and try to secure it so it doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't get in the way. And now we can go ahead and install our combination meter. And again, I'm going to use that microfiber cloth just to cover the front. And plug in our connectors before I push it all the way in. See if I can get this left side in. Come on. There we go. And as I move the combination meter, I'm trying to do my best not to touch the glass. And, alright, so very nice. Got it in place. And now we can reinstall our 3 screws. So it's going to be our 3 Phillips head screws. I'm just going to start by hand tightening them. And then we'll go ahead and snug all 3 of them down. So there's the top one. There's the one on the right. And the one on the left. And now we can bring our instrument pad back over with our start button. Hopefully the last time we got to take this off and on. And as we bring this in, we're going to reconnect our start button. See if I can maneuver this correctly. And we'll reconnect those 2 connectors. And then go and push our pad back in. And this snaps right in. There's nothing to this. Oh, very nice. And now that we have that snapped in, we can go ahead and reseat our lower instrument panel. And again, this pushes right in. And I'm sure you're noticing the reassembly is actually easier than the disassembly. So let's go ahead and bring our cluster lid over and our steering wheel column. See if I can wedge this in there. There we go. Bring it as one beautiful piece. Snap in the column, snap in the cluster. And I just want to make sure that all these clips go in all the way. Do one more check. Very nice. And now we can bring over our instrument side finisher. And that just snaps right in. Give it a nice little love tap. And for our last piece of reassembly, we can install our steering wheel column screws. Again, Phillips head screwdriver until they're nice and snug. So there's one side. Turn the steering wheel and do the other side. So now let's go ahead and turn on the vehicle and make sure all of our gauges work. We always want to test to make sure those are working. Okay, so far so good. Except that little guy. We have a check engine light. Well, let's go ahead and investigate that, see what's going on. So let's go ahead and go into our instrument panel, and you're going to see that white connector. That's where you're going to hook up your scanner. I have a real cool Bluetooth one. Let's plug that right in. And let's check it on our phone. So we have a P0462. And this is most likely due to us trying to turn on the vehicle while all those cables are disconnected. So let's go ahead and clear it out and see if it comes back. Yes, confirm. Alright, so far so good. So we'll take a look at our combination meter, and the check engine light is gone. Okay. And we have that one little indication because the door's open, so let me close that. All right, so far so good. And then we'll go ahead and turn off the vehicle, let it sit for a few seconds. And then we'll turn it back on just to verify that check engine light has cleared. So powering it back on, so far so good. And we'll wait for that airbag indicator to go away. Beautiful. And I think we look good. And for our very last test, let's go ahead and verify the remote start system works the way we expect it to. So when you hit it 3 times, you're going to see your hazard lights come on, which we do. And then it's going to start up. Okay, and then we're going to work our way into the vehicle. So let's just say you had to start it up, you let it warm up in the morning, you go in, the door is locked, so that's good. You come right in, and I'm going to put my foot on the brake. And that looked like that powered off the vehicle. That's a good sign. So that means someone can't just jump in your vehicle and take off while the vehicle's warming up. Alright, so we're going to do one last test. We're going to try this one more time. So let me hit lock. There's 2. One more. There's 3. Hazard light should blink. And there we go. And now I'm going to make my way to the vehicle. Let's see if we can get in. And then I'm not going to touch the brake. Instead, I should be able to hit the on button or the start button, and it should be able to stay on. So I hit start, and that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and put it in drive. So I put my foot on the brake, put it in drive, and we're still on, and the key indicator turned off. Put it back in park. Good to go.